At this time, the chair recognizes Councilwoman Gym, who will present a resolution honoring the heroic efforts of professional caregivers and first responders. With Commissioner Cynthia Figueroa and those accompanying her, please join the Councilwoman at the podium. And I think I also see our Fire Commissioner, Commissioner Thiel. And joining the Councilwoman, we have Councilman Heenan, Councilwoman Blondell Reynolds Brown, Councilman Green, Councilman Taubenberger, and Councilman Squilla.
Thank you for being here. All right. You can be in front too. You can be in front, line up in front. I think the SEIU being in front would be great. Yes. Right in front. Yes. All right, good morning, everybody, and thank you so much. It is my absolute pleasure on behalf of City Council to welcome and honor our everyday heroes who are our caregivers in the city of Philadelphia. It is a great honor to have so many people in the city acknowledge and embrace our caregivers. That includes our Fire Commissioner, Adam Thiel, our Commissioner of Prisons, Blanche Carney, our District Attorney, Larry Krasner, our Commissioner for DHS, Cynthia Figueroa, and thank you also to our labor unions, DC 47, 1199C, and SEIU Healthcare. Together, we honor and embrace caregivers who are an essential backbone here in our communities. They provide the needed support to our friends and families who need a helping hand and essential services every day as we pursue our passions and participate in everyday life. Today, we are here with these everyday heroes, social workers, first responders, teachers, doctors, nurses, behavioral specialists, and other community leaders who, despite the experience of compassion fatigue and secondary trauma, nevertheless are first to the scene, uplift our communities, and help us through some of our most challenging times. And inspired by the commitment of caregivers and first responders, I'm happy to declare, as well as with my colleagues on council, today as Caregivers and First Responders Day in the city of Philadelphia. The film Portraits of Professional Caregivers, Their Passion and Pain, was screened as part of a city council briefing last April, highlighting the secondary trauma and worker resilience that many caregivers face in our city. And those who have seen this film, I'm sure, will join me in expressing how incredibly struck we were by the determination, commitment of caregivers, their compassion in the most challenging of circumstances, as well as family members who are often ill or in danger themselves. And I'm honored to be joined by the filmmakers, a friend and neighbor for a long time, Vic Comfer, Rodney Wittenberg, who are here today in City Council. This award-winning film will be broadcast in honor of caregivers today, actually, at 2 p.m. on WHYY Channel 12. And I hope everybody today, as we move forward, join me in thanking our professional caregivers for the compassion and service of their work. So today, a resolution honoring the heroic efforts of professional caregivers and first responders and declaring February 15, 2018 as Caregivers Day in the city of Philadelphia. Whereas caregivers and first responders provide stability and a wide range of ongoing and emergency supportive services to our most vulnerable citizens, including children, the elderly, people with intellectual, physical, or emotional challenges, and including many who have experienced trauma and toxic stress, which can impact lifelong functioning and health. And
whereas in the United States, caregivers, both paid and unpaid, provide an estimated $450 billion in services each year. And whereas 2 out of every 5 paid home care tenants live in poverty and on unsustainable wages. And
whereas significant rates of secondary trauma, also known as vicarious trauma or compassion fatigue, are experienced among many professional caregivers and first responders, including child welfare workers, firefighters, of course, police, therapists, medical personnel, and so many others. And
whereas it's estimated that 34 million family caregivers in the United States provide uncompensated care, and whereas around 5.5 million caregivers in the United States provide military members and veterans who are wounded or ill with comprehensive and critical services, helping heal those who have risked their lives for our country. And
whereas caregivers and first responders who step up to the plate based on their profession or family ties give of their own time and well-being so that others may live their fullest lives with dignity and independence. And
whereas caregivers remind us that one of life's greatest gifts is to be able to support and recognize the humanity of all our neighbors. And
whereas caregivers' daily work is a testament to the generosity and grace that help fuel the more humane and just society. And
whereas many caregivers are on the forefront of the equity and justice movements and are currently leading the Fight for 15 Now movement. Repeat after me. 15 now. 15 now. 15 now. 15 now. And other efforts to make care work sustainable. And
when we fight, we win. Oh, sorry, wrong rally, right. Whereas caregivers and first responders are unsung heroes who hold families and communities together, provide immense emotional and physical labor, and are too seldom applauded for the sacrifices they make every day. Now therefore be it
resolved that the Council of the City of Philadelphia hereby honors the heroic efforts of caregivers and first responders and declares this day, February the 15th, 2018, as Caregivers Day in the City of Philadelphia.
And the chair recognizes Ms. Figueroa for remarks.
Thank you, Councilman Clark, Councilwoman Gym, and all members of council for this wonderful day and this extraordinary recognition. I want to also say that I'm speaking on behalf of not just myself, but also the members who've been recognized, Commissioner Thiel and Commissioner Carney, who are with us today. The Department of Human Services, as well, on behalf of all caregivers, both those who work in the public and private sector, I'm honored to accept this resolution proclaiming February 15th as Caregiver and First Responders Day in Philadelphia. First, a heartfelt thank you to all of those who are in caregiving and first responder profession. Today is an important recognition all caregivers and first responders, and in particular for DHS social workers who are the case managers on the front lines every day, working to stabilize families and meet the needs of more than 10,000 of children who are cared for by DHS. The very nature of this work can have a significant impact on child welfare workers. It goes by different names: vicarious trauma, compassion fatigue, secondary trauma, or otherwise known as just burnout. But no matter what term you use, the fact remains that seeing the impact of abuse and neglect on children every day stays in your heart forever. Like other helping professionals and first responders represented by caregivers you see this morning, DHS experiences families at its most critical juncture. We see children whose lives have been forever altered by trauma. Witnessing these situations can have a lasting impact on caregivers. This is one reason DHS encourages staff to practice self-care. We do this by supporting counseling for our own staff, and we even have a self-care room. We recognize that counseling is critically important. The fact remains that those of us who are professional caregivers and first responders are often the last ones to take our own advice, to get help. So I encourage all of you to take that step that you need to find meaningful activity that can take care of you. Take time for self-care, celebrate yourselves, celebrate each other. The city's first ever Caregivers First Responders Day. Thank you, Council.
Thank you.
apologize, one more point of order. I would like to take this opportunity to introduce Vic Comfer, who's the director and co-producer.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. We are so pleased that our film, Portraits of Professional Caregivers, Their Passion, Their Pain, has helped to inspire this city, and particularly with the initiatives of councilpersons Gym, Taubenberger, and Green to hold a council briefing back in April when we showed a segment of the film and discussed secondary trauma and staff resilience, leading to today's event and the declaration of Caregivers and First Responders Day. I'm so proud of this city and hope that we will begin to see other cities across this country following this wonderful example. We're also very pleased that Councilman Green then arranged a screening of the film for District Council 47, and in the conversation around that, proposed that there be public hearings on this topic. And we understand that that is going to be scheduled, that it's definitely going to happen in the coming months. Ideally, we hope that the City of Philadelphia, through the work of the ACES Task Force and other groups, will be moving toward the goal of becoming a trauma-informed city. Most of all, though, today we are so grateful that you are all here, those standing here and those in the audience, and to the many types of professionals who provide care and protection. Child welfare workers, other social workers, first responders, firefighters, police, prison staff, teachers, doctors, nurses, therapists, behavioral specialists, and our Red Cross crisis workers, some of whom are also here today, and other trained community leaders, and certainly our home health aides as well. While the emphasis today has been on professional caregivers, I expect that many of you, both standing here and in the audience, have been family caregivers as well, taking care of disabled and ill family members. We want to also recognize and honor you. We thank Commissioner Figueroa for her statements. We hope that some of you may be able to watch the film today if you have a television in your office, 2 o'clock, Channel 12. If you can't, it's going to be broadcast on prime time in the future. We hope that you will visit our website and that we can make the film as available as possible to you. Thank you for being here.
Councilor Biddies.